Hey guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good everything to wherever you are in the globe right now. I welcome you guys to part of Gajira's, plan to help better the space by educating more and more and more. Today's topic is going to be ledger tips, tricks, tests, and setup. We will be going through a nice presentation by my good friend Cam, who has taken time out of his busy schedule to come out here and educate you guys. We will get through the entire presentation, and then at the very end, we will do an AMA like frequently asked questions. So hold any questions till the very end. And without further ado, hey, Cam, take it away, baby.
All right, thank you for that. Yeah, and I'll start off at the beginning too. That I'm one of you guys too, right? I'm by no means the industry expert on Ledger. I'm another guy that started into crypto probably like March of 2020. Last year, decided, hey, I should probably secure this stuff a little bit better after one of my in real life friends got hacked. So started looking into it, going through tips, tricks, trying to figure out the things that plagued me when I was trying to set up my ledger. The stuff that was confusing, the stuff that wasn't easy to figure out, and things I've learned since then as well. So just wanted to sit down with you guys, try to pass on some of the information, high level, and like Zero said at the end, we can do AMA, FAQ. I'm sure there's probably some people out here that have personal experiences or other things that are deeper or different than what I even have. So, but want to do our best to try to get everybody starting to think about this, getting your mind moving towards trying to secure, all your hundreds of thousands of dollars of NFTs and crypto that hopefully you're making instead of just leaving it on a hot wallet. So we'll start off just very quick. What is a hardware cold wallet? Most of you guys probably have heard of it. Hopefully have one. If you don't, that's okay too. There's no better time than now to do it. The biggest thing about a hardware or cold wallet, used interchangeably the words, is that when you have one, your private keys, which are the things that are needed to sign and make transactions happen on any of your wallets, reside on that device, which even if it's plugged in, is physically disconnected from the internet, from the world, right? You have to physically click a button to push to give approval. And it's important for things like obviously your NFTs, also your crypto. If you're storing your crypto on an exchange like Coinbase, any of them that are out there, you are susceptible to hacks that may happen on those platforms. So yeah, if it's Coinbase, you're probably going to get refunded, I'm guessing, at some point. Uh, but all the random platforms that are out there, you're kind of jeopardizing when you're doing that. If you put it on a ledger, you're securing yourself more. There are other types as well. I'm going to refer to it as ledger as I'm going through. Trezor's obviously another important competitor in the marketplace. There's some other ones as well, but ledger's kind of the de facto word I use and the one I personally use. We'll start off with one of the big things. I know people probably hear this a lot. Do not buy a Ledger, Trezor, or anything from anywhere other than official websites. So you can see the ones for Ledger and Trezor here. Go in, check the certificates to make sure it's actually issued to ledger.com, not somewhere else. You didn't get referred via the sponsored ad on Google, anything like that. Don't buy off Amazon. Um, Hundreds of don'ts here. And one of the big things you kind of have to think about is don't be cheap. You're spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in this space. $59 is about zero point 0.02 ETH, so it's basically the gas you're going to use on your DGen mint that you see pinged, ape into with no questions. Just go buy a ledger. Make sure you're at least protecting your most valuable assets. And I'll kind of be harsh here a little bit. If you can't justify that cost, you shouldn't be operating with expensive NFTs in this space yet. Make sure that you protect yourself. Coupons are fine too. Some people have coupons for these, but make sure you're starting from that official link and not doing it somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely make sure because it's like so easy for them to upload malicious hardware to a ledger, and it could be and it will look just like a ledger, but they've uploaded like any kind of software that could just potentially just literally drain your wallet like once you start loading stuff on there. So it's like so important that you guys make sure that you order from a trusted site, and the only trusted site for Ledger is Ledger. So Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'll jump on that too because like everybody thinks Amazon's trusted, right? Like people have heard of Amazon, but their distribution centers are the issues with that, right? They go and they toss everything that has the same SKU as that ledger into a bucket, and that can be supplied from anybody in the world, right? So all it takes is you getting the wrong item picked out of that bucket that may have authentic ledgers, but also inauthentic ones in there as well. Um,
Absolutely.
so just because it's Amazon doesn't mean it's safe. If you got one from Amazon, just return it and buy it from the official place.
Yeah, it's like crazy actually how cheap, like when you equate it to how much the 0.02 or whatever for a ledger, it's like so incredibly cheap to make sure that your stuff is secure. It's like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I will say too. I know we were talking a little bit before this. Uh, the Nano S, the cheap one, the $59 one, wasn't that bad. It's not as nice as the X. It was my first time using it, just testing out for this, but it was actually not terribly bad. So definitely do it if you're debating and saying, well, oh, I'll wait for this one to come in stock or this one to drop in price or whatever. Just buy the cheap one, start
Yeah.
moving.
We can talk about what's the difference
Um,
between the X and the S and all that towards the end of this.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Things that I wish I knew earlier. These seem stupid, but they're things that I was a little curious about. Right? Your ledger still has an Ethereum address. It's just not the same one as your hot wallet that you're used to dropping all the time in chat whenever Shan shows up. Right? Um, so you can still go look at things. You can still go check on EtherScan while you're not around. You can still go check on OpenSea if you've connected to OpenSea to see, what items you have in there. So you don't have to physically have it with you to go check your NFTs or your inventory that's in there. Um, One of the cool things about this too is anybody that's familiar in the space, but I'll act like I'm not. If you're out there and you're minting on a hot wallet, or let's say you're on a trip and you go and you minted a Moonbird or Gajira Gen 2 or whatever, and you want to protect that, you don't want that to be sitting on your ledger. You can send it from a hot wallet to your ledger, even though you don't have your ledger physically with you. It's just an Ethereum address, like I said. So you can send it. It'll be safe. It'll be waiting for you when you're back there. Double check, make sure you're sending it to the right address. Triple check that. We'll go over some of that later, but you can actually get your items to a safe place, even if you don't physically have your ledger with you. Getting them off is a different story, but getting them to there is very much possible. Um, it does slow you down, right? You have to click a button. You have to physically approve this. But if you're storing your important, valuable NFTs, your crypto in here, that's a good thing. I know it may seem like it's not sometimes. I think the space is moving a little bit away from quick, fast shock drops, but in this case, it's a good thing. And if you lose your physical device, so if my Ledger X sitting right in front of me gets wet tomorrow, gets crushed, my toddler comes in and smashes it. That's okay. Yeah, I'm out $100, but as long as my seed phrase is safe, everybody plays around about that all the time. You're still good. You can go, you can buy a new ledger, you can import your wallet onto that ledger using your seed phrase. So that leads directly into the protect your seed phrase. This isn't ledger based. It's kind of just general security based. Make sure that you write it down. Do not store it in your email. Do not store it in a photo. Um, One of the things that just came out the other day was like the MetaMask hack, where it was backing up in iCloud and people were getting people's iCloud access on Apple and all that. Um, Similar thing, if you don't have a good Google password and you store in your Google Photos or wherever else, you're making yourself susceptible in different ways. So make sure you have that secured. One thing I'll recommend too, I finally bit the bullet and did this recently. It's a pain in the butt to set up, but get yourself one of these steel ciphers. They're about $30 on Amazon, and these are fine to buy off Amazon because they're just a piece of metal with letters. And put your seed phrase in it, at least for your valuable wallets that are holding most of your assets. Good to have. They're fireproof. They normally come with like a sticker. You can seal it so you can see if somebody was tampering with it, if you have a roommate or whatever the situation may be. Just get one of those, protect yourself again in a different way. And I'll reiterate, just as we're going through this, never give anyone your seed phrase for any reason. There's not a good reason ever, as much as we joke about it.
Yeah, unless Zero Cool asks you for it, that's literally the only like use case for giving away your seed phrase, and only if you have a lot of like really good stuff on there, you know.
But yeah, yeah. If you have a lot of money and you're cool, take it. He'll make some good plays for you with his alpha calls.
Just to clarify,
You'll come
I'm
back with
kidding.
10 times the money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this is a really cool thing that Cam was showing me about is this like seed phrase, private key, like the way to like, store and like understand it because like people were saying, if you take a picture of it, if somehow or another your phone gets hacked or something like that, or like, like that iCloud hack and like, you saving certain things and then all of a sudden you went from like being good to go to like having your seed phrase just like sucked right out of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that you kind of have to think about. The more copies you make of it that aren't physically in your possession, right? You're exposing yourself in different ways, right? Even if you think you're putting in an encrypted zip file or whatever you're doing, right? You're exposing yourself one way or another. All right, we'll keep jumping along. Back to the ledger topics, not the C phrase topics. So setting up when you get your ledger, they'll tell you. I think they actually have QR codes in there too, and links to the websites that you can type into your browser. Go download Ledger Live from the official link. Only use the official link. Please don't Google it. If you need to go back to ledger.com, where at the beginning of this, and go navigate to it, I've shown you here on the right side at the top. Hover over the apps and services, go to Ledger Live, download the version of your choice, so desktop or mobile. Um, I haven't gotten mobile to work great for myself. We can talk about it at the end. It is possible you can see your assets. It does sync, so you can go look at it. But the Bluetooth function of the X, I have not used extensively at this point. I mostly use it on the desktop. Um, One good thing about the Ledger too, when you get it, you'll have to go and you'll have to confirm your seed phrase. This is where it wasn't great to be fully interactive going through this. It does make you confirm it after you've written it down. So please follow the directions, write it down on the little forms that come in the box with your Ledger. Make sure you're safe until you can get that cipher to store it as well. All right. So once you get Ledger Live, these are kind of screenshots of what you'll see once you're setting it up. So Ledger Live installed on your system. You plug it in and you start getting prompts that will be on your ledger. So you can see in the top there, that's like an image of it. You'll essentially see this on your physical device. You'll have to allow Ledger Manager to get access to your device. And then one of the things that was not very transparent to me when I first got it, I thought, okay, cool, I'll plug this in and I start sending stuff to it, right? Kind of, but you also have to start installing apps. Apps in this case are basically support for different cryptocurrencies, to include Ethereum, which of course NFTs run on. There's other ones as well, Solana, things like that. But Ethereum's the main one we focus on here. So you'll see this app catalog within Ledger Live. You will have to go and you'll have to install the Ethereum app to make it start working properly. And once you do that, um, one thing to remember here, actually, before I jump on, uh, you can have multiple addresses for Ethereum on your ledger, but and you can have Bitcoin on your same ledger that you have your Ethereum, anything that you're working with there. But please remember that if your seed phrase for that device is compromised, the entire device is compromised. It's not just one wallet. So make sure you're again protecting that with everything that could be on it. So once it's installed, once you have Ethereum installed, you can go in and you can start adding an account. Essentially, an account in this sense is like a wallet. So you're starting to go towards this process of making that unique wallet that we talked about earlier that exists on Ethereum that you can see regardless of your device being there. It's just like your hot wallet, but you have to physically press buttons to approve it. These are just screenshots here showing, hey, it's installed. Go click on add account for Ethereum. Once you get there, you'll have to pick the device, assuming you only have one device plugged in. It should be pretty easy. You'll add accounts. It'll do some confirmation and sync, essentially. One thing that I know I got hit with yesterday testing out, you will, if it says that you have a firmware update, uh, do that first before you try doing this, or else you're going to wind up in an endless circle. It won't let you install the accounts until you have your firmware upgraded. All right, so cool. I have an account now, so I made this one testing WVUCam. Now what do I do? You're still in Ledger Live. You're looking at this. You don't really know where you're at, right? So the first thing to do, oh, jumped around on me, is smash the receive button. So let's say you're trying to send something to this wallet, right? You got to know where to send it. You got to know your address. So right here, you can see this in the bottom screenshot here. The address for this, that's my Ethereum address. So that's where I will send my NFTs, my crypto, anything like that that I'm trying to store on this Ledger device to keep safe. And again, I'll kind of go back to this because we've been preaching, be secure with your seed phrase, be secure with your ledger, all these sort of things. Your public address is not really sensitive in this sense. Like we were talking earlier, people drop it in chat all the time to try to win things with, first person to put their address in wins. Your public one's fine, and unless you're trying to keep it for anonymity or something like that, it's not really sensitive at that point. Don't be worried about that. The next part is test transactions. It is scary sending things anywhere in this space because if you typo one digit, it's gone forever. OpenSea reminds you that, but it truly is very true. So test out, make sure, get comfortable before you start doing things. You can see actually down here at the bottom, 100 days and 22 hours ago, it's probably more than that at this point since I made this, I sent myself to my ledger 0.05. I probably should have sent less, but that seemed like a good amount to test out and figure out whether or not it actually showed up. So that's one way to do it. Go send yourself a little bit of ETH. Make sure that you're comfortable saying, hey, I'm sending this from my hot wallet to my cold wallet, your ledger, and make sure it shows up. The other thing to do that is kind of useful and free, and you don't have to necessarily even transfer ETH, is go create Polygon NFTs. You can do this on OpenSea. I can walk you through this. Actually, I set up a little demo that if anybody wants something sent to them, they can. Create one, send it to yourself. Get comfortable making sure that shows up in your ledger. And this is an example of that. So essentially, I did this earlier today, I guess. Make yourself confident with sending NFTs by using Polygon, right? You can go create them for free on OpenSea, send them over to yourself, make sure they show up. If you need more direction on that, feel free to reach out. Happy to help you with that. Happy to send them whatever. It's hidden. Yes, that's scary. Don't interact with hidden things. That's general rule of thumb. But also you created this. So if you created it, unless you're hacking yourself, you're fine. Send it over to yourself. Check, make sure it's there. It's okay. You shouldn't need Matic, but just so people know, Matic is what Polygon runs off of. You can see it down there at the transaction fee, 0.02 cents. OpenSea essentially just comps it at this point when you're sending something. But if you would need it, you can go get a drip from your hot wallet, Matic.supply, and they'll essentially give you a little bit of Matic for free to make sure you can send these 2-cent transactions without problems. And transfer over from your hot wallet, so you can see this here. Send it from here over to my cold wallet, which was on the last page, and it shows up. So then the next part, see if you received it. So there's varying schools of thought here. People normally ask, and we'll cover this a bit later, about can I connect my ledger to MetaMask? Can I collect it to OpenSea? Can I connect it to anything, right? And we'll get to this. For me personally, especially for this test, yes, I connected it to OpenSea just to see whether or not I actually received this NFT, making sure I didn't typo anything to get this demo working correctly for you guys. So you can check it, and this is a good thing to know from this standpoint. Also, you can go into Etherscan or Polygon Scan and check it as well. Remember, OpenSea is not the blockchain. When you're minting things, all that, sometimes it's like, oh, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? And sometimes you don't put enough gas in it, so it might still be pending. But if it's actually been confirmed, OpenSea is probably just rugging you. It's probably actually there. If you go check your address on Etherscan, you should be able to see that actual token has arrived. And again, I used OpenSea. I know everybody hates it from time to time, but this is the easiest way to visualize your NFTs even on your ledger. There is the rainbow.me Ledger Live app you can install, and that works. I haven't seen it work well with Polygon NFTs. so far when I've tried it out, but it will work for your actual Ethereum NFTs pretty well, which can mitigate you having to connect to OpenSea if you're against doing that. Um, Tips, reminders. Again, if your seed phrase is compromised, then they all are. Every wallet on that device is compromised. You can see in that top left image there, there's the top address that we've been testing around with here for my ledger. There's also four more below, I think. It goes to five. Um, so there are ways to have multiple wallets essentially on a single device. You can do this to split it up, but again, seed phrase compromised, you're done. So don't assume you're safe. It's more just if you want to store things in different locations and have different, better accounting for your assets. Um, a good rule of thumb, and I know we talked about this a lot recently, but there's been a lot of hacks, things like that going on. Consider keeping your ETH and NFTs in separate ledgers or wallets at least. Sometimes the ETH or WETH is required to initiate transfers, claims, etc. Remember, scammers need this to accept bids and initiate transfers. And one of the biggest things here is your goal is just not to be the easiest target. That sounds crazy, but you don't want to be the person that gets scammed by the easy things, right? Like you can't on a hot wallet. Make yourself harder to target. It's really the best thing you can do in this space, in all parts of life, but definitely in this space. So a lot of people have fake cameras they put up outside sometimes, right? If a thief thinks you might have a camera, they're going to stay away. If a thief tries doing something and they can't get to it, they're probably going to leave you alone. Another thing to consider on this, the bottom left here, sometimes people have issues with the ledger not working well with MetaMask, kind of getting hung up. One thing you can do is you can go MetaMask settings advanced, preferred ledger connection type, and you can change from that web HID, which is essentially using the MetaMask plugin in your browser, and you can go through Ledger Live, so it'll pop up Ledger Live will, and it'll say, hey, do you want to open a connection to your Ledger? You'll have to click on your PC, yes, approve, and then you'll actually still have to physically click on your Ledger too. It's just another layer you can do, but it also works a little bit smoother sometimes than the web interface. Another thing that I know I personally do is I use a dedicated browser. Make sure you keep it updated. Then you've been getting pinged all over lately, I'm sure, about Chrome exploits. But separate Brave and Chrome is what I do. I keep my ledger on Brave. I keep my hot wallet on Chrome. Don't mix and match them just for context while I'm working through so I know which one I'm on. Make sure you don't do some sort of crazy mint or click a suspicious link using your ledger. We'll get to this real quick. Disclaimers: I'm not the expert. Like I said at the beginning, this isn't financial advice. It's not technical advice. I'm just trying to help you guys out. If you want to chat with me, anybody, about this, feel free. Make sure you do that in a public forum. Don't go to DMs. If it's somebody you super trust, maybe you could, but even then, who knows? Maybe Zero's account got hacked and he's asking for my seed phrase for some reason, right? Be careful. Talk about it in the public space, right? Anybody should be willing to give help in a general chat to you,
Yeah.
especially here in
And there's never a
here.
time to rush this stuff too. Like, there's never a time where you're gonna be like, oh, I need to like get this information like right now. So like, take your time, like you said, go to a public forum, talk in there. If I'm messaging you things that are like very strange and like, asking for seed phrase or any of that kind of stuff, usually I mean, pretty much every single time I would never ask you for that. So like that's something that there's just like the words of the wise is just like don't rush through this stuff. It's like what I always talk about with Discord safety, with OpenSea safety and all that kind of stuff is like just don't rush this stuff. You're dealing with like minimum hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if not thousands or tens of thousands of dollars worth of NFTs. To rush this stuff is like just like crazy. You would never rush the purchase of a car, like or opening up a bank account. You know what I mean? So like just take your time, honestly. Just like chill, just like pump the brakes and just like just go through the process. If you have any questions, just if you have any concerns or anything like that, you don't feel right about something, just stop, go into like chat, ask around, tag me, tag Cam or something like that. And if we don't get back to you right away, like I said, there's never a time where you're literally rushing to do this unless, you think you've been compromised or something like that, which, at that point, there's a good chance that it's already too late. But like I just can't
Yeah.
stress it enough. Just chill, guys. Like it's all good. Like and like people think that like tagging people it bothers and stuff. You know, if I'm doing something, I'm not gonna answer it. If I'm sleeping, I'm not gonna answer it. But if I'm around on my computer and I see someone tag me with a question, of course I'm gonna be wanting to come in there because there's other people that are gonna have those questions as well. And that's the main thing. It's like we're all in this together. We're all working together. I mean, Cam came to me and was like, "Hey, like I know you're wanting to do some like classes on this kind of stuff. Like I'd love to like help out with the ledger stuff." You know why he's doing that is because that he wants to better the community, and that's why Gajira is so special. Is because we're all working together for the same purpose. We're all trying to eat together. We're trying to grow together, and we're trying to be happy and enjoy this beautiful community and the beautiful space that like we've helped create. So the main thing is that we're all trying to help each other out, and that's why Gajira is special. So don't ever feel like that there's a question that's too dumb or too stupid or too like obvious to ask, because I guarantee you there's other people that are scared to ask it because they don't want to look stupid. You will literally never look stupid. Just please make sure you go through the proper steps, and if you feel uneasy about something, just ask questions.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for foot stomping that. I mean, we all want to help, right? That's why we're doing this, or at least in this space, we want to help. There's definitely bad people out there, but ask, public forums. It's a good way to do it. Make sure you're not being taken advantage of by anybody. Hate having to say that in a place like this, but you never know. You never know whose Discord could get compromised or anything, right? So, talk in a public place. Make sure you're protecting yourself, and like Zero said, slow down as you're doing it. Um, and then one thing we'll touch on here too. There's all sorts of ways, methods, opinions on how hot to make your wallet, right? So if you're connecting to OpenSea, if you're connecting to MetaMask, if you're not doing that, if you're going to connect but you're never going to authorize anything to sell from your ledger, um, there's all sorts of different approaches to this. You can have multiple ledgers for if you want to separate it out. Um, you can do lots of different things, but just consider doing what's best for you and understand the risk versus reward is really where this is. I'll jump to the next page because I definitely have an example here, right? Um, I see this talked about a good bit in this space is can I sell from my ledger? Um, yeah, sure you can. You can connect it to OpenSea. You can authorize to list that collection there. You can do it. Does it put you at more risk than if you never did? Probably, but if you're going to be selling that item, you're going to be at risk at some point regardless. There's not really a way about it. You have to list it somewhere. You have to pay to list it. So if you have a ledger that you know is safe, not compromised, and you go and you authorize it on OpenSea, barring OpenSea exploits and all that nobody can really prevent, right? You're listing something somewhere to sell it. If and when that sells, if you decide you're going to sell your Gajira and you're going to make 20 ETH, right? That 20 ETH is now sitting in your ledger, not on a hot wallet. So even if you were to transfer it out, sell it, have it on a hot wallet, then send it back to your ledger. There's a period of time there, unless you're sitting watching exactly when it sells, that you're exposed, right? You're putting yourself more at risk. So make sure you're kind of weighing that out and figuring out what's best for you through this, right? Multiple devices if you need to, multiple wallets, multiple accounts, sending it around. Make sure you're doing the best thing you possibly can. Um, you also can connect to other sites. I know there are some that require it. There are some that, I think we just went through this with Goodyear a couple days ago with the staking that came up where people were having issues with Ledger. They were transferring it back and forth. I got mine working with my Ledger. It worked fine. So I elected to go that route. I would rather have my staking pass even on my Ledger and not sending them back and forth. So I got it to work. But long story short, you can do a lot of different things with this. It's mainly about just figuring out what's best for you and how to best protect yourself. I'm not going to tell you what that situation is for you. I'm just wanting to present you with the information to hopefully do a little bit better on your own and keeping yourself safe. And with that, Zero, I think we're at the end of the slide deck besides some backup stuff if we get to it. So if we want to pivot, we can.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And like, thank you so much. It's been really informative, and I think answers a lot of questions. The main thing is that it seems, very like I guess complex per se, but really like this stuff is it's not terribly difficult, and it's not terribly like confusing to be able to do this. So, That's like one beautiful thing. The only thing that it is just a little bit unnerving to send stuff, and that's why Cam was harping on the fact that you can you send a little bit of something just so you can see it go in there, but you're pretty much good. You're pretty much good to go, and it's don't let it like scare you or be super daunting. Just think of it as an extra layer, it's like a super layer of security for this kind of stuff. So definitely make sure that you like I was saying is take your time, and also just like don't let it like scare you or intimidate you. We everyone here, there's other people in this stream. I know tons of people who are have set up ledgers and are more than happy to like ask questions and all that good stuff. And like I said, we'll do some more of these in the future. But yeah, if you I don't know if you want to go to the backup stuff or if you want to just go to the AMA, it's up to you and let people ask
We can
questions.
go to the AMA. If we touch the backup stuff, we can jump into that. But I think that'd work best. And
So
I think you're right. Like we talked about this when we were going through. Right, it is scary to send something to a new wallet address that you haven't used before. Right, it's scary, but take your time. It'll be all right.
yeah, absolutely. And so I'm seeing some questions here that gonna get to. Let's see. What's the average price for a Nano X? Like right now, I think it's what like 160 something dollars ish.
Yeah, I think so. You can, like I said, there are coupons you can get from time to time. Um, but yeah, I think it's 160 or something. They just released the Ledger Nano S Plus too. I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with that one. I haven't bought that one yet or worked with it, but
So
I think it has a couple new
so
features.
Nano X is $150. Let's see. Then I think the Nano S is $60. The Nano S Plus is I'm not really sure about that one. I think it
Yeah,
might be it's under $100, but the main thing is that the differences in them is like it's not really that big of a deal. It's storage capacity, I think, and then price is what's the difference between the Nano X and the Nano S. The Nano X also has Bluetooth and a longer battery life, which can be good if you're a computer and you don't want to have to like plug it in or you don't have a cord long enough and whatnot and yada yada yada. It's just more of quality of life type of things. And I think that you can use like 100 something crypto apps with the Nano X compared to like only like a couple with the Nano S. I think is another difference. I know that most people say that it's like, obviously it's just like it's personal preference. And when you're talking about it, I mean, I would just go with the X just because it's newer technology, capacity, battery life, like, just all that kind of stuff. And you're talking about like maybe like $80 more or something. And in the grand
hmm
scheme of things, it's like 0.02 or so. You know what I mean? It's really like, it's really like nothing. It's not even like even close to even a mint price, of an NFT. So. It's definitely
yeah,
well worth it. Don't like sleep on it. And some people are talking about like buying like multiples and stuff like that. I think it's a bit excessive. Get your Nano, like your Ledger Nano S or X, whichever you prefer, and just like load that thing up, and then like with all your stuff. And it's a good way to never like we were saying, it's like don't mint off of this off your ledger. Like take this ledger, put like anytime you get something that's worth like it's like either a vault, something most people like name their ledger like a vault, like Zero Cool Vault is what I would do for my ledger. And then I would literally take that, take my ledger and like put it under my like mattress or something. You know what I mean? Like just like stash it away. I mean, I'm making a joke, but just put it in a safe place. And as long as you still have your seed phrase, don't like be like, oh my god, I just like, oh man, I just got water on it. All my stuff's gone. Like it's not like that. And like Cam was saying, is that you can, as long as you have your seed phrase, then everything is like okay with that.
yep, yeah. I mean,
So
that's the. I was gonna say that's the only reason I could say that you would ever want more than one off the rip, right? Is like if you're a very clumsy person and you know somebody's gonna spill coffee on it or something, right? If you have a backup there, you could reinstall like your current wallets and stuff from your seed phrase on one, right? You have it handy, but it's not a necessity, right? If you have to wait a week to get a new one, like that might put you out of the game, but maybe you need that week out of the game if that's the case.
yeah. So someone said, I just set up my ledger. I staked my Gen 2 to my hot wallet. Should I unstake, then restake on my ledger, or is it okay to send my staking pass to my ledger and I'll be safe, even if my hot wallet somehow gets compromised? I do believe that Yeah, and I haven't transferred it around, but I do believe that once you have that staking pass, whatever wallet you have the staking pass in is the one that it's like basically tied to. I think that's correct in my understanding, right, Cam? I mean, I know this is not something that like just because I'm a team member, I'll know that better, but that's
Yeah, I
my
haven't.
understanding of this pass because like the
Yeah,
staking pass is new with like what Gajir is doing. So
yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not.
how it works.
yeah,
That's how it works.
yeah. That's what I was assuming.
Yeah,
But I like I said, I hadn't transferred it over to see like if that was actually like how it is. So you should be completely fine with that. Let's see. See, there's another
yeah, I think
question.
you're
It says,
better.
I had them in my ledger and had to move them to a warm wallet. I rarely used to stake. Now that they're staked, I have the staking pass. I'm able to. Okay, so that's basically the same question as the other one. Yeah, like it's gonna be accumulated on whatever wallet your staking pass resides in. So
So to clarify that too, I think that means that they can send the staking pass to a
yes,
ledger, right? It'll just
yes.
operate from there at that point.
It's
Yeah,
just like buying a staking pass off of OpenSea. You know, you're buying what was staked with that and like the Jira token that comes with like that. So that's basically what it is.
yeah.
And let's see, there's another question. If the MetaMask wallet where the ledger is linked to gets hacked, can the hacker crawl into your ledger wallet and bypass the physical signature that needs to be done on the physical device? Or is there no way for the physical signature on the ledger device to get bypassed? I
Question, and I actually was researching that the other day. I believe they have to have physical access on your device. There was one point of discussion that was going around that like if your MetaMask itself were to get hacked, so not like your wallet per se, but like the actual, I guess if you installed like a malicious version
yeah.
of MetaMask instead of the official one, then like you could be compromised. But I believe you still have to have a physical press on that device to sign things.
Yeah. So yeah, that I think that answers the question. That so it seems that way. And like we are saying, is we're not experts on this, and that's the main thing about the NFT space is there are no experts really. Like there's people that have been maybe even people that have minted CryptoPunks have only been into this space for like over a year, just barely over a year and whatnot. So like we're all just kind of like working and learning and growing together. So it's just like an evolving thing. Um, Second question
Well,
is,
and
go ahead.
I was gonna say it's one of those things too, where it's like the hacks are still evolving too. I mean, computer cybersecurity, but this space especially, it's so evolving. All right, um, you never know. You can only do the best to protect yourself.
Absolutely. Is it ideal to have an entirely separate device that's solely for the purpose of just storing your NFTs, meaning you don't have your minting wallet in there and just your main wallet where your ledger is linked to? I think Cam will agree that yes, it is definitely a good idea. It's like basically your vault. Like your ledger should be your vault. And you can put ETH on there and whatnot if it's like something that you like just want to like seal away, but then you have to worry about if you're trying to mint or you need to buy something quickly, then you're having to transfer from your cold wallet to your like warm wallet to be able to mint stuff. So I definitely say it is worth to have like one that's your vault that you keep all your expensive stuff that you want to like be able to be keep forever, like your forever NFTs and whatnot. So it's definitely smart to have them. And
Yep. Yeah, and if you have like stacks of ETH sitting around too, consider putting those on a ledger
right.
too until you're ready to
I mean,
deploy them for some reason, right?
I can send you my wallet address if you want me to store it on there, or you can, Only kidding. So okay, here's another one. Got my ledger, but I didn't connect with MetaMask. Instead, I created a MetaMask with the words from my ledger. Do you know anyone who did something like this and how they solved?
Created a MetaMask with the words from your ledger. So I think if you do that, you essentially have a hot wallet at this point.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
So
like.
I think the best thing you could do is I believe you can go back into Ledger Live and initiate a new device. You may have to wipe your current physical device, and you can start a new wallet just like if you were getting a brand new device from Ledger. I'm guessing they probably have a guide on it. We can look for that and send it out. But I would recommend obviously keeping your seed phrase for your hot wallet that you have now, and creating a new one that's completely cold. Don't go connected to Ledger that
What
way.
does that
Or
tell you, hey? Oh shit, sorry.
Um, Hopefully that helps answer the question a little bit better. Like I said, some of these questions are a little bit, just confusing to understand like what exactly you're asking for, but we're trying to answer them the best of our ability. Like I said, after this, if you have more questions, feel free to like message us or tag us, and we could even hop into a VC, here in Gajira, some other time, and we can, figure it all out. Because like I said, we're all learning together, and we're all like working towards this, and I want to make sure everyone feels comfortable and everyone's getting their questions answered and whatnot. So I'm going to go through another question here. How do we claim our Jira and keep our roles with Collab Land and such? Do we need to connect a ledger to Got Jira website to claim the Jira? Your slide said not to connect things like that.
I think this is one of those things that's your level of risk, right?
Yeah.
How risky are you willing to be, and what are you willing to connect to? Um, Personally, for the wallet that I keep my Gajira on, other things as well, I do use the Ledger to connect. I have another one that I use for things that are truly not ever going to be touched, or cryptocurrency stores, things like that. But yeah, I connect to very trusted websites and very few websites with my Ledger. Gajira being one of them. Anybody that knows me knows that I have a lot of PA. So I will connect to the Psychedelics Anonymous site for C2 claim, things like that. Once it's been tweeted out, it's in Discord. You wait a little bit, make sure there's not a hack. Again, this is one of those things that don't rush, like Zeracool said, right? If somebody says, "Oh, cool, new Gojira staking website or new marketplace comes out," like give it a minute, make sure other things aren't going crazy, make sure General's not muted and locked and all of that stuff that happens when Discords get hacked. Don't be in a hurry, right?
Yeah. Once
But
again,
yeah,
ask
personally,
questions to.
I do that. Yeah,
Let's see what else we got. What other questions we got? And if I skip your question, tag me now, and I'll try to get to it. Just a bunch of questions out there. So let's see. Can I connect my ledger to a current or MetaMask hot wallet, or will Connect hardware wallet on a MetaMask always create a new wallet? And is there any limit on how many MetaMask wallets I can connect to my ledger? I currently have my ledger. I currently have my ledger connected with one of my MetaMask wallets, but would like to connect more.
I have your ledger connected to one of your MetaMask wallets. Um, I'm trying to figure out that question exactly. I believe you're talking about like on the Google plugin you have your ledger connected. Am
Yeah,
I hearing that correctly?
that's what I think I'm understanding. General, if you want to just say something in the chat right now so we can understand a little bit better, but
It's General's question. I can only,
said yes.
so you can connect your ledger to any MetaMask instance. So, like for example, I'll use like I can connect my ledger through the hard wallet connection settings, and that's a good point too. Make sure you're not inputting your seed phrase, but I can connect it to the hardware wallet settings on both Chrome, Brave, on this PC, another PC, wherever you need to do it. You can connect it multiple places wherever you feel comfortable with that, wherever you need to use it. If you have two different computers or whatever your setup is, different browsers, you name it. Does that answer your question, General?
Yeah, and if
All right,
later on,
cool.
like maybe you're like going back through and checking stuff and it's not exactly the answer you're looking for, like I said, just like send a message, say something in chat, and we'll make sure to figure it all out for you. When I asked my question earlier by device, I meant a laptop. Question that I asked earlier is it ideal to have an entirely separate device? So you meant laptop by device as solely for the purpose of just storing. Yeah, I'm not. It seems a bit excessive, I guess. If you're talking about like if you're buying a new laptop and have only my MetaMask wallet where my ledger is linked to on that and nothing else. With that said, I'll have my burner slash minting wallet on a separate laptop. I don't think the physical like act of like having another one is doing like anything different for you. But I don't know if you could
Yeah.
answer that better. But to me, it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, I think the only like worry you have from like device, it depends what you're doing, right? Like the only worry you have is, from a device setting like perspective is Obviously, if you have malware on your computer, and or like if you would have a keylogger or something like that, they would relay your seed phrase if you typed it in somewhere. But with a ledger, you should never be typing in your seed phrase anywhere. Is one thing I'll tell you. The only place you're going to confirm it will be on your actual ledger device.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like we've got a majority of the questions. If anybody else has any last questions, like I said, we're going to be doing these more often, and we're going to continue to adapt our presentation a little bit better to accommodate for some of these questions that we're getting now. And, they'll just keep on getting better and better. So if you don't have anything this week, either send us a message, or you can, like I said, is come back next week and we'll do another one. We're going to try to make the next one, if Cam is cool with it, we're gonna try to do something on the weekend so that we could do something in the morning so that we can get, Australia and other people involved in there. So for sure, that'd be good. It's Cam. Someone was
Yeah,
asking about the
absolutely.
slides. Are you gonna make those available to the public?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, yeah. Because it'd be nice. Especially with the setup like spot that they can go through like each page and whatnot. We're definitely trying to make this like very newbie friendly. That's why I do this in a channel where everybody, even non Jira holders, are, and that's just like mainly it's not to take away value from Gojira. It's more or less like because like our main thing here at Project Gojira is we're trying to better the space, not just make us better, because it's not just about I, it's about we. And when I say I, meaning us and other like projects out there. And I know that you guys feel the same way. That's why Gojira is so special, is because we care about everybody else, and that's why we're making this accessible to like everyone out there. So that's the main thing. And any questions you guys can ask in the voice chat. I'll give you guys a little bit longer to ask anything, and then I'm gonna stop the recording. But the main thing is that this will be accessible for you guys. Come in here and ask questions. There's other people in chat that weren't at this that know a lot about the ledger and are more than happy to help out and whatnot, and just like tag people and just ask questions, because it's like we're all in this together. Like I know I repeat myself a lot, but I feel like I need to. If people feel like that they are are burdening people by asking too many questions or yada yada yada, you're not. You're only burdening people when you don't ask questions and something happens, like you get hacked or you do something wrong, you lose ETH or you lose an NFT, and that's like when I get upset. It's because you're trying to save face and not ask questions and not look stupid. And the main thing is that like looking stupid is the dumbest thing like I could ever hear. Like I ask questions to Cam, and I other people, and they're like, oh, zero cool. Like I don't like check your ego at the door. We're all the same here. We're literally all the same. Like I don't. Who cares if I'm zero cool? Who cares if it's Shan? Who cares if anything? Ask the dumb questions, because you're not only helping yourself out, you're helping other people who are too scared to ask those questions out. And I cannot stress it enough how important it is to just ask questions, please. It doesn't matter if it's like where like what how do I buy it? Do I like can I buy, just like it doesn't matter. I don't even care. Like it doesn't matter. We will never we will never treat you like, oh, you're being stupid or anything like that. Like and if you find anyone in Gajira that's like that makes fun of you for asking stupid questions, give me their name and I'll deal with it. Okay? Okay? Like
So
I'm not even kidding. So go ahead.
can I ask a question? Sorry, I didn't mean to. I thought you were ending the space, so I just wanted to get my one question in there. Is there a place where I can learn about staking my Jira?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to? There's let's see. I think that there's some walkthroughs that I could. Are you just talking about like if you're staking your Jira for the very first time?
Yeah, I mean it's Gen 2. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the
of
Genesis,
course.
it's Gen 2. I'm just very new to the whole staking thing. I've never staked anything before, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing it absolutely the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't mind, can do you have anywhere you have to go? Because if you just like wait a second, let me finish the ledger questions, and then I'll literally share my screen and show you like how the staking works. Is that cool?
Of course, yeah, of course. Thank you so much. I have nowhere to
Uh,
go. I'm right here.
absolutely awesome, awesome, good deal. Because let's just let everyone do their ledger questions so they can all leave, and then I can like personally help you with that staking questions, because I know it's kind of scary and it's kind of crazy. So we'll definitely take care of
Yeah.
it. So,
I appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely, of course, of course. Happy to help out. I mean, that's like why I'm here. This is my job. Just my job's to make you guys happy and make sure you guys are educated and understanding everything perfectly. So yes, there's one more. Can I have a
Yeah.
multiple wallet addresses in Ledger just by adding more Ethereum accounts on Ledger Live?
Yes, you can. Again, they're all comprised of that one seed phrase, but yeah, you can have, I believe, up to five. One of the things, and it's in the slides too, so when we share them, you'll see it, but you do have to have something in the first account or whichever account you're targeting before you can start using a second account. I'm not sure exactly why it does that, but that's how it is. So if you want to use like a wallet 2, for example, you have to have an NFT or 0.001 Ethereum or something in there before it'll let you start registering new accounts. But yeah, you will have more than one on there. I believe a default comes with 5. Just normally you only use one.
Awesome. Cool, cool. Anybody else for last minute questions for this? If one wallet address in Ledger is hacked for some reason, are the other addresses safe?
So if it's hacked, that means your private keys are shared
Yeah.
essentially. So
Yeah.
you should
If your
consider
ledger gets,
them
yeah.
all. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a question. When it comes to like interacting with contracts when you're minting, if I have say two different wallets uploaded and I'm on my browser, there's two different seed phrases, right? So if I have like my main with my valuables in it, and then I have my second second wallet with a different seed phrase, am I like do you endanger your other accounts when you are interacting with contracts?
So when you're interacting with the contract, you have to remember essentially you're signing that contract, right? With that account. You're not signing it with all your accounts when you're minting, right? So the one you're signing with would be compromised at that point. So if you're minting on your hot one and your ledger is also connected, then your hot one's the one that would be jeopardized. Don't mint from your ledger, please, if you can manage not to. Does that answer your question? So essentially, the one you're signing and authorizing, which should not be your ledger, is the one that's compromised. Like we talked about earlier, maybe there's some complex new scam that would come out that would actually hack through MetaMask. But again, unless you're physically approving that, your private keys are signing it, you should be okay. Be careful with
Okay.
things like in your browser and stuff, right? Like if that happens, you should probably clear your browser and all that before you start doing anything with your ledger. Would be my advice. Switch
It's
over to Brave if you're on Chrome or something
it's
different.
just so
Just
easy
to
and cheap to just send ETH to like a just a hot wallet to like mint and then transferring that to your ledger. It's really is that easy, and it's just smart like to not ever interact with stuff. Just added layers of security, because the problem is sometimes you might not know that you're hacked, and then when you say you make a big sale, then that's when the hacker, when they see like a lot of ETH get put into your wallet, that's when the hacker will move. So you sometimes you won't even know. So it's always smart to just err on the side of caution for sure.
yep. To answer your question,
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Is
yep,
there
absolutely.
anyone else that has any questions? Feel free to. And like I said, is if you kind of are like, oh yeah, I get it right now, and then you start going through the walkthrough with the ledger, and then you have questions, either remember it, send me a message, send Cam a message, tag us like in chat or whatnot, or just wait till the next one, and we're gonna do another one of these for sure. So don't feel like you're missing out. It's not a one-time thing, and we're going to be perfecting our presentation a little bit more and more every single time we do it. And yeah, feel free to go ahead and ask any more questions. If not, I'm going to end the recording. Then I will be posting the YouTube. I will post it. I will share it to YouTube, and then I'll share it here in the Discord. So
I got one more question, and it probably just requires a short response. But there haven't been any known hacks or security issues connecting to Collabland, correct?
that is correct right now. apparently before, when it got kind of sketchy a little bit, it wasn't necessarily a hack on Collabland. It was more of a precautionary thing. So it is technically, and I think a lot of people have been moving over to the WAP, and then I think even Llamaverse does something else like Flues or something like that. So there's like definitely other ones, and like realistically, the unfortunate thing is that like to verify that you have a Genesis or have a Gen 2, you will have to do that. But that's like in my Discord safety thing, is that's another thing is don't rush it. Look at the bot that you're interacting with, make sure it's the real collab land, make sure it's the real WAP, like make sure it's the real Flues, and just take your time and just like make sure that what you're connecting to is just you verifying your assets and you're not, giving away your, compromising your account.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only time I'm ever really concerned. I don't really connect to anything
Hmm.
other than Collabland or WAP with my ledger. So hopefully we don't come to the day when somebody finds a way to hack through that, because that would be a big scare for everybody.
Yeah, let's just not talk about that. That would be terrible.
Yeah,
But every
like Zero
day,
said,
yeah, go ahead.
check the bot, check the address. I know it pops up right and says like make sure it's collab.land or whatever, but like actually check it in the address bar too, because if you're a hacker trying to get into somebody and you do collab.lands or something, like if they grab some other
Hmm.
address, they'd probably put that bar up there that you're used to seeing and hope you don't actually check the address, right? So check it, make sure.
That
Yeah, I know when I was making my Gen 2s, I even had to go and double check to make sure I remembered how to spell it all correctly.
yeah, I definitely want to make sure you got everything good to go. Is there any other questions from anyone before we wrap up here and I get to the staking question? All right. Well, I appreciate you guys so much for coming out and spending time here. And I know that it's definitely we're helping you out, but you're also helping us out by by like, coming out here and asking questions and all that kind of stuff, because that's like a really good thing for us and for like everyone else, is that, asking questions, because some people are a little bit too afraid to speak up, and most likely most people have the same kind of questions, and some people are just afraid to ask dumb questions. So I appreciate everyone that asked any questions, and hopefully this was informative. And thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you, Cam. You're the man. I appreciate you so much for doing this and taking time out of your after work time and your leisure time to come out here and help educate the Jira fam. So, like I said, as I've already kind of begged him a bit to do another one of these on the weekend, and we're gonna be able to do that, and it'll be great, and we'll definitely like let everyone know, and inform everyone for everything coming up. And yeah, it's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, and as always, until next time, laters.